Hey everybody, this is Drink64, and as of recording this, there is one more day until Star vs. Force of Evil comes back for the big 3-week kind of bomb. It's 2 weeks and then it's just the Monday, but that's about it. So yeah, really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've looked at the promo, we've looked at the poster, and basically in this video I just want to give my final speculations on what I actually think is going to happen, where all the arcs are going, and how it's all going to basically tie into Season 3 in some way, if at all. Which I think it will. I think there's going to be some kind of thing going into Season 3. What that will be, though, absolutely no idea. I have no idea where it's actually going on this front, because I feel like, again, Season 2 is just dealing with Ludo, so yeah. Anyway, basically, I'm going over each arc, and we're going to just take a look at what I think is going to be going on with each one, how it's going to... whether it's going to finish up that arc or continue on into another season, which I'll get into with one of those arcs. So let's just go ahead and get straight into the first one, and we'll see where we go from there. So the first arc I want to talk about is Ludo. Obviously, he's the main villain of Season 2. He's become a really badass antagonist. I like Ludo now, because back in Season 1, I really didn't have any love for Ludo. I didn't have anything for him. I didn't like him. He was weak. He was kind of a useless villain. Then Toffee came along, and Ludo was nothing, basically. He wasn't even considered a character to me anymore. But Season 2 has really revitalized that. Ludo is more of a threatening villain, and I really appreciate that. So, again, with Bonbon the Birthday Clown, Ludo has the book now. Ludo has Glossaric now, and where that's going to go, we have Read the Cave, first of all, and Star and Marco are going to try to get Glossaric back, which is going to fail, which will lead into an episode, The Hard Way, which is basically Ludo trying to force Glossaric to tell him how to use the book. I'm gathering that that's not going to work out either. That's more than likely. Like, Glossaric not going to tell Ludo what's going on, although maybe if my theory is correct that, I didn't really want to make a full-on video about this theory, but basically my theory is that instead of Ludo's wand, isn't Toffee, like a few people have speculated. I think Eclipser is inside of Toffee in Ludo's wand in some form, and that's why Glossaric is kind of sort of obeying Ludo, because it's not Ludo he's obeying, it's Eclipser in the wand. I know it's weird, but I just think it'd be really cool if that was the case, and it seems like that could be the case. Like, the way they're going with this season is Eclipser, which I'll get into later. But basically, the way I see this in the last few episodes, obviously we're going to deal with Ludo. We are going to get Glossaric back by the end of the season, I have no doubt about that. But what's going to happen to Ludo? Basically, I don't think he's going to get killed in any sense. I hope Ludo doesn't get killed. Don't kill him off. But on the subject of what they're going to do with Ludo, it's weird, because I don't want him to be killed, but I don't want him to be reformed either, and I feel like this isn't a show that will go about reforming its villains. I feel like Ludo is a villain that could be reformed, kind of like Buffrog. Buffrog went from evil dude who worked for Ludo to a good guy now. He's a cool character, and I hope we see more of him, which we most likely will. But Ludo, I have mixed feelings on whether I'd want him to be redeemed or not. Let me guys know down in the comments, do you want to see Ludo get redeemed? Because, to be perfectly honest, I'm a bit mixed on that. I don't know. I do and I don't at the same time, because while I do really like Ludo, and I think he'd make for an interesting sort of anti-hero in that matter, but at the same time, he makes a good villain. He really does, as he is now, so I don't want to see that go away, if you guys know what I mean. I don't know. But I hope, you know, if they did redeem Ludo as a character, that'd be fine, really, but at the same time, I don't, so that's kind of where I think they're gonna sort of go with Ludo. Either he's gonna get redeemed or he's not, but other than that, whether he just gets thrown into another portal, I don't know, it kind of go full circle at that point. So anyway, moving on to the next arc that we're going to take a look at, and that is Starco now. Starco just overall has been really heavily hinted at, and it's become a serious plot point for the show now. The whole relationship love triangle between Star, Marco, and Jackie has just become so much bigger now, and it feels like, you know, it's more than just a friend thing. You know, it's more than your regular old friendship, you know, oh, Starco, Jacko, that sort of thing. Really not just fan service anymore. In the Tom episode, Mr. Candle Cares, they even say Starco, so it's canon now, and really they're heavily hinting at this. Like, the last 3 episodes is just friends, Face the Music, and Star Crushed, and instantly, again, a lot of this season is focusing on Starco, and it seems to be going a lot more towards Starco than it is towards Ludo, which kind of sucks, but obviously Ludo is like the main thing this season, so yeah. But basically, what's going to happen with this, or at least what I think, is Just Friends is going to come along and, you know, I'm sorry to any sort of Jacko shippers out there, but they're totally going to break up. Like, I have no doubt that that's probably what's going to happen in Just Friends. They're going to break up. Like, I never really had any doubt. Not that I'm not a fan of Jacko. I do think it's a relationship that works, but I've never been a big fan of it. But I do think they're going to break up in that episode. That's going to lead into Face the Music, which is going to be sort of Star telling Marco how she feels. Which is going to happen, like, that has to happen at some point, so she's going to tell him how she feels, and he's going to reject her, which leaves her Star crushed, and which leads into the season finale, and then we get into all the Ludo shit, and then the season ends leading into season 3. Great. So Starco's going to happen. It's going to happen, like, Blood Moon. Blood Moon happened. We know Starco's going to be a thing, and I have no doubt. I think it's just a matter of when. I don't think it's going to happen this season fully, but I think it's been heavily hinted at this season, and we're going to actually see that develop a lot more in season 3, and possibly if there's a season 4, but there is that. That's about all I really have to say on Starco. It's going to happen. It's just not going to happen this season, and Jackie and Marco are going to break up, and all that shit's going to go down. So that's about where that's going, in my opinion. Moving on to the next arc, and that is the Miss Heinous arc that's going on. Now, so far, we really haven't seen a lot of her. We've had the episode Gift of the Card, which had her sending this bounty hunter to basically kill Star and kidnap Marco, and that failed. And now, in the episode Heinous coming up, she's going to be just arriving at the Diaz's house, doing something and making Marco punish for some of the things that he's done, which I have no idea what those are. So yeah, it's really weird. Like, I have no idea why she's going so full up frontal about this, just coming up to their house and, you know, punishing Marco for stuff that he's done, which again really confuses me. But again, like, there's some other ulterior motive, and I don't think in any way that this is the end of Miss Heinous. I feel like there is going to be more going into season 3 with her. It's going to be like an arc that's stretching out over the course of a few seasons, and that's how that's going to work. But I don't think this is the end of Miss Heinous. I think this arc is going to continue quite a lot. It's just a really stretched out arc that I wish they would do more with. Come on, have a two-parter of Miss Heinous. She's really cool, and I want to see more of her, and come on, I want to know how she's connected to the royal family, because there's absolutely no doubt in that. She's connected to the royal family. That's a fact. And we know that from the, is it the clubs or spades? I think it's the clubs, yeah, on her cheeks. So there is that. Miss Heinous is just really interesting, really mysterious character. We know virtually nothing about her at this point, which really is weird, and I hope we're going to learn something in Heinous, but apart from that, I have nothing. I have nothing to say. I don't know where it's going. I feel like, again, Miss Heinous isn't done in this episode coming up, and it will go into season 3, so there's that. Now, the last thing I really want to talk about in this video is what's going to happen going into season 3, because obviously the stuff with Ludo is going to get done here. Starco's going to get heavily hinted. I feel definitely going into season 3, we're going to see more Starco. That's a fact. We're going to see more Miss Heinous, which I really want and hope, and I think it will happen. Come on. But going into season 3, we're going to see a lot more of those bigger storylines coming up, a lot more of the lore, more of the Butterfly family, more of what happened during the war between Toffee, Moon Butterfly, and all that sort of stuff. You know, a lot of the stuff that happened with Toffee. Toffee's going to come back, which I think is going to happen. If not that, then they're definitely hinting at Eclipser and her sort of role in all of this, because I don't feel like now, especially, I don't feel like Toffee is the big bad of the entire show. I don't think he's like at the top tier of those villains. You know, it's kind of like how in Steven Universe we have Yellow Diamond now, and she's definitely not the top tier of villains for the show. There'll be White Diamonds, so I don't think Toffee is the big bad of the show, the final boss, so to speak. I feel like that's Eclipser, and that's going to end off with Eclipser, because she's really been hinted as this big threat who we don't know much about, but what we do know is pretty bad. So, you know, we've opened Eclipser's chapter, Marco has been corrupted, Ludo is possibly going to be corrupted, as we've seen from the promo, so there is that. If I'm right, and Eclipser is inside his wand in some form or another, this is bad, and, you know, this is really setting up for a lot of the bigger plot points to happen, so again, my theory has always been Toffee's plan from the very beginning was to bring back Eclipso. God knows why, but that's just my theory, and I'm sticking to it. So overall, Season 3 is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to really hint at a lot of those things. Overall, this half of the season is really just going to close out some stuff, open up some new bridges, and go into Season 3 with a new, fresh slate. It's going to be a lot of fun. From what I've actually read, they are about halfway done with making the Season 3 episodes, so they know what they're doing. I want to know as well, but again, we'll get Season 3 sooner or later. I'd like a break between Season 2 and Season 3 just to really not have episodes all at once. So yeah, but overall, I think whether they're going to do Season 4 or not all depends on whether, you know, they really have the story or want to continue that story going on, whether they can just close it out with Season 3 or whether they need to continue on to Season 4 to basically deal with a lot of the stuff. Hopefully Season 4 is going to happen, please. I love this show, I don't want to see it die so soon. Don't make it another Gravity Falls, which is something I'm really worried about, but that's about it. That's it now. Believe me. But if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.